We are honored to welcome Dr. R. Kishore Kumar, correspondent of St. John's Public School, Chennai. He has been instrumental in shaping educational excellence for more than 4 decades, a visionary leader, mentor, and public speaker. Sir, we are very happy and honored to have you here to address school leaders and aspiring leaders today in a very insightful session on better leaders, better school, a leadership roadmap. Welcome today, sir. Thank you so much for joining with us and addressing a lot of questions. A lot of people are looking forward to the discussions that we're going to have today.
Thank you, Sushmika. My greetings to Capric Learning team and to the entire lot of heads who are going to be with us in this streaming session. I'm eager, I'm delighted, I'm so anticipating firing questions from me or lead questions from me where I'll be able to, whatever possible from my heart, I'll try to share with you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So let us start this session with a question which definitely comes to a lot of our minds. You know, having
Hmm.
someone like you with experience of more than 4 decades, which means you've seen generations in this field. So we'd like to know how the role of school leaders has evolved since you started your journey in 1983.
It was an accidental entry into school education, ma.
Okay.
It was not a well planned, well designed, well drafted model like what children today are very, very eager right from sixth standard. No, children plan today how they have to be of the career choice. I never had a choice. I belong to the old model of school education system where we followed the guidance of uh, parents at home and to some extent teachers at home. And I just finished my 11th standard. I don't know where to walk on. Maybe wanted to become a doctor, and then I think I couldn't. Then maybe my parents wanted me to do my BSc, MSc, and that the story came when my father wanted me to do B.Ed. I was
Okay.
very very disturbed because no teacher in any of my schools that's where I studied they inspired me to be a teacher. So I
Okay.
was clueless, but it's my father who compelled me to take it. But when I see the school education as a student, as a teacher, as a headmaster, as a principal, as a correspondent, no, I somehow gelled into this journey, but seeing what's happening around me. When unstructured school education system marching into a highly structured school education system, a non-competitive education system becoming a very competitive education system today. And that is how I saw. Schools were very simple. Schools were like Padasala, we call. Schools
Yes.
were very, very limited. Schools were meant only for making a child to be a good disciplined person, character building, and trying to be away from house. But today, schools have evolved for every decade, maybe every 5 years now, there is so much of movements happening where we saw only the growth of matriculation school from the state board schools. Then came the CBSE schools into the model. ICSE school, though they were existing from a long time, no, the participation of ICSE, the number of schools of ICSE becoming lesser, then suddenly, there's a CBSE schools dominating in some of the metropolitan cities like Chennai and overtaking. That is where the divide between matriculation and the CBSE system came. Then I think suddenly, Dr. Karunanidhi announced the Samichir Kalvi, and today what the Tamil Nadu sees, or rather most of the states see, is a very common state board syllabus, and that is wonderful because the mass of children is only on the state board. So 85% of the children go into the state board, but some of them whom they think no, they could compete, they want to move out, they have their own likings and designs. No, they have moved into. Today also we see the commercial schools of the international brands saying we are international. I don't know in what way they are international, but they say affiliated to IB, affiliated to IGCSE, and that's that type elite schools. No, sometimes parents think the schools which charges more fee are the best school, and sometimes parents feel the school which doesn't ask us to pay anything are not the good schools. But it is not the myth that is happening. That is what we have been seeing. But in large, India is growing based on the education system that India is able to provide. And the 10, 15% of the young men and women who have been totally rolled into good education or who are able to provide the best of it, the best to the world. And we are not serving only India. our boys and girls are serving around the globe. And if Indian people are withdrawn from most of the countries will collapse, because that is the power of Indian education today, being prepared, skilled, and we are all there around the world. And we are there the same place, what we call a ladder. We're there in the same school, same curriculum, same designing, and we are trying to push our children across. And when they go out, we give them the brand called they are well-educated children, literary-oriented children, and we don't know whether they are morally oriented, whether they are beautiful in terms of their discipline or their ethos. Because sometimes, no, today's evolving school says not giving much importance to the discipline, the moral values. It becoming a rat race. Now, somewhere I want to do better. I want to land up in a good environment, good placement. I want to earn more. That is what becoming the focus of today's education. The world also looks at it. They don't look at the human being in a different way. They see what is his competencies, what is his eligibility, what is his
Yes.
skill. That's what they see. That is how the school education system is evolved. And there are a lot of difference between those old teachers, those 30 years, 40 years teachers who were so good to the children and they provided everything. But today, technically, our teachers are extremely good. Technically, they are
Yes.
very good. But those attitudes of those old age teachers are not prevailing with today's present teachers. That is how the world has evolved. There is so much evolvement that's happened even in the parents. Parents of
Yeah.
yesterday's are different. Parents of today's are different. Expectations are different. And today, education becomes a what you call a commercial product. I'm paying, give me this. It has become a bazaar. It has become a supermarket. They want to buy education. And definitely, as a seasoned teacher, I say education cannot be purchased. Education has been taken with so much of humbleness, so much of reverence, and so much of beautiful nature that we children have to go to school, learn in a school environment, because education today for me is not delivering subject, but delivering life for the children as a package that we have to give them to go ahead in a long way.
Yes, sir.
I'm
I
conscious
think
of the time, so I'm cutting off. Okay.
so. I think that was very beautifully put. You just gave us a vision of how it has evolved across the years, and a lot of questions do come in our mind about as an educator, what are we doing, and what are the
Mm,
things we
mm,
should actually focus on. You gave us a good perspective there about the things that
mm.
actually should matter to an educator, sir. That was very well said. Thank you so much. Moving on to the next question. So this is something personal, sir. What is your leadership philosophy?
I evolved myself. The philosophy around me maybe is what I evolved myself. I
Okay.
always look at the school as a sacred place.
Okay.
I never thought I'm working in a school. I never thought, no, I'm sitting in a position in a school. I always thought a school is a very sacred place, a temple of learning. So I felt if I could be a pujari, if I could be somebody there as a leader, now we all come together as a very, very beautiful sacred place, and we wanted to provide everything to the children because we are so revered to understand children are the learners of today. And we need to provide them something that could go on. That is only philosophy. Sometimes, no, I may do everything well. I think so. But, when I sleep, no, I'm burdened. Am I doing the right thing? Are my 160 teachers delivering the right thing? Are the children who are under my care are safe in terms of good learning? Because even one small error that we make in any classroom, in terms of a pronunciation, in terms of spelling, in terms of attitude, in terms of no, it affects the child, and that what we affect the child is not seen, and it's a scar for the child for a long time. Even a best of medical team cannot identify the scar that has happened to a child in a classroom if we do something innocently or ignorantly. And that is what my philosophy. I love to be a school teacher. I love to deliver it. I always feel a school is a temple of learning. How many of us go to a temple of such institutions with that feeling instead of saying, I'm in a job, I'm in a job market, I'm here? And there are people who change their profession or change their position even for a change of 1,000 rupees. Somebody is going to give you. It has become a rat race, rooting down in an institution for 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. No, if somebody is going to offer you 1,000 rupees more, then there are people who move out of the institution. So I always feel, no, it is individual philosophy. What do you want? I have come to a job. Yeah, I'm here. I'm come because I have a passion for teaching. I'm here, and it moves with the philosophy of individual people. My philosophy is, whatever I may not be fit for any other profession. Whether people like me or not, I'm wedded to this profession. That's what I could say. That's my philosophy, ma. That's all.
Okay.
There are a lot to say. There are administrative philosophy, there are academic philosophy, there is a bossing over philosophy, so many things. But understanding every need. Sometimes we need to boss over because if something is not delivered to my children properly, I have to boss over. And if something is done, I have to appreciate them. See, philosophy keep changing, it's evolving one, ma, and we enjoy whatever we have. No, I've been gelling with this, my philosophical thoughts so well, and whatever I talk also is my own philosophy. I don't copy from a book or a reference. I do it myself. Okay.
Yes, sir. So, like I was just talking to you, and we have heard you speak in a lot of conferences and a lot
Mm.
of panel discussions, and we always leave being inspired. And this was one such moment for me here personally, and I'm sure many people who are listening will also connect to your philosophy. And I think every great leader will have a philosophy which is going
Yes,
to
sir.
inspire people. Inspire people to become leaders like them, inspire
Yeah,
people to
yeah.
be like them.
And my
I think.
philosophy is, if it is institutional, Amma. My philosophy is institutional. My philosophy, if it's going to help my children, it is that philosophy. If it's going to help or encourage or motivate my teachers, it is my philosophy. But I will not like a teacher who cannot deliver to always deliver to the children because that is not the right way. So sometimes our philosophies also have to be rude,
Yeah.
concerned, and it moves on. Ma.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Moving on to the next question, let's talk about St. John's. Sir. St. John's has been one of the best schools in Chennai. Everybody here knows about St. John's, talks about St. John's. How do you ensure, to stand out in such a competitive educational landscape?
I like the second part of your question, Ma. We can't survive with what we were for the last 40 years or 50 years or 60 years. And to what we do today, it matters. Because nobody comes to any shop or any brand because it is 100 years old. And are
Yeah,
you delivering the best what is required today? So you have told the right thing. Today we are in the competitive world. We can't say, we can't stand in the market saying we are 50 years old and 60 years old. I may be 42 years old in the field. I may be 42, 43, 44 years in the field. But what matters is what Kishore Kumar does today.
exactly.
When I came to an unknown place somewhere near Medavakam, somewhere closer to Velachery or Perumbakam, I went to an unknown place. It was a place where nobody would have even thought a school could come up in the place. But I went to a place. But I have belief in me that if I could deliver something good, wherever the place, the birds of learners will come to me. And that is how I came to a very unknown place. And today I'm rocking in a place called Perumbakam, where when I came, there was nobody around me. And today there are 300 players around me. There are 300 institutions around me. All the brands have come around me. So I don't know what it is. But today I've given a lead to a particular place. And the competitiveness, I know you should know. People come with 200 crores, 300 crores, invest in a place, take a property, build an institution,
Yes.
and pump in the best of the academic leaders, called the principal, hire a best principal, paying a lakhs and lakhs of money, and bring in a team of teachers and try to deliver. And maybe there are associates who come into the fold and deliver. But to me, that is maybe a model, but India needs such models of growth. But also, in the bottom line, a teacher is one who need to meddle with his children. And I always say, even a young man came to me a few days back and said, Uncle, if I'm going to be in a school, what is the best of a school? I said, a school needs a very, 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 very intellectual, a resourceful teacher. And it needs very attentive, receptive children. If this is two can meet in a classroom, there is so much of energy and power in a classroom. Today, these two are becoming a very, 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 what do you call, a very, it is unavailable. And how best is to create a classroom with 30 children or 35 children who are very attentive, passionate, to listen to a class teacher, a subject teacher, who's so passionate to deliver. I always get admired by Justice uh, Mohan. I had been with him at work. He's a very elderly person. He says, when I've been in the law college, Madras Law College, in the High Court, when I teach, nobody came to me. But the
Okay.
way I kept on teaching, my hall was full, and people. That is what the right education, Amma. We can't make a child be attentive to me. The way we teach. The child should become attentive. It is not my STEM lab or my the space lab or my computer lab or my lab is going to track. But only if I have the human resources beautifully entangled into a very, very technological supported institution. And that human resource is very important. Any school that provide that human resource beautifully and entangle the technology support so well, and if a school is not teaching physics properly and you still have a STEM lab, there's no use of a STEM lab. If you don't teach chemistry properly, have a well structured chemistry lab, there's no use of a chemistry lab. So that is what the human values have to be put into the institution, the right proportion, and that will evolve into a beautiful institution. And children don't go with the infrastructure, they go with the human structure. What type of people are we, and what attitude we have? Can we hug them and take them to a journey of a good school education is what today. Because many children are today broken. Parenting in most houses, there is no harmony. A school is a very, very sober place where we have to mend the children and prepare them. And that is
Yes.
what I always say, let me go to a caring institution. Let me go. And parents sometimes ask, what is the result? What are you doing? What are the resources you have? But more than that, they have to ask, what is the type of teacher you have? When they come to me, I always say, you have come to a brand. When I leave my car in TVS, I never ask who's the mechanic that is going to mend my car. I only say, I have come to TVS and TVS will take care of my car. When you come to me at St. John Public School, I'm here to take care of the brand value of my institution. I will deliver it to you. And that is what I think the competency that we develop. And it is not competition that we look forward. I don't know what's happening in other schools. What I do from morning till evening is what is my delivery point for my children who are under my care.
Okay. That's a very great point, sir. And you have shed light on a very important thing today. Many parents, like we just discussed, are driven towards the infrastructure and what facilities the school have. But then ultimately, what matters is how well the teachers are, how dedicated they are, what is the vision
Yeah.
behind the whole
How
institution.
caring the teacher is. Yes,
Yeah,
ma.
that
You're
is
right.
all
Yeah.
matters. And like you said, just like you said, not every child comes from a happy home. Sometimes
Yeah.
school has to be their happy place. And
Yes.
that is the kind of place that we are all envisioning. And
Mm.
that is the
Yes,
should be the
you're
vision
right.
of most institutions.
Yes. Yes, Amma. You're right.
Very well, good, sir. Thank you. Moving on to the next question. What is your vision for the future of education over the next 10 years, sir? And how do you think schools should adapt to the changes that are happening around us today?
So I always say, ma, Parliament should discuss about this.
Okay.
Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha should discuss about this.
Yes.
There are a lot of debates are happening every day in the evenings in the English channels, Hindi channels, and vernacular language channels. And people should always give importance to education. It is the education that churns the country, and not much importance is given to this field. Understand? Because if we are only going to give them intellectual education and not moral education or value based education or ethical education, the education that we give to the children will go to the head, but not to the heart and to the hand. Today, India is getting ready to skill the children with hands on education. But what is more required is also not only to the head and hand, but to the heart. And if we can take care of that in a country where we are too good, our children are too good, ma. Our children are too good in terms of technology. They grasp the technology so well. A 6 months old child knows how to handle a mobile. A 3 years old child knows how to sit on a computer. Today, our children are too strong. Whether it's the first standard, second standard, they are ready with the PowerPoint presentation. So technology is ruling our children. They can deliver the whole of technological guidance to the whole world. India is so powerful in that. And the government is doing very well in developing technology. They should also pay a little way to understand how children have to be in the future. I say there are five important things. We should look for a disciplined mind among children. I'm talking not discipline, a disciplined mind among children. A mind that synthesizes things around them is required for future. A mind that is very creative. A creative mind is very important. I very, very strongly say children of today should have also respectful mind. Respectful mind. Because those days we lived together as a family. As a family, we have respect. Today, children do not have respect even for the parents, do not have respect for their own sibling, do not have respect for their own relatives, and That type of sacredness we are losing. So I always say a respectful mind is more necessary today for the futuristic needs of the children. We cannot avoid the ethical mind of the children. If these packages are also given along with education to our children, I think we'll stand tall than any other country the world could see. And that is the see, I'm only trying to tell how did India survive during Corona is because of our grandmothers, grandparents, the type of food they gave it to us, the type of the traditional food that we consumed, what brought us. Today, children are moving away from traditional food, moving away from, they are into a lot of fashions. But if the country could take care of these type of small, small things, no, we need to understand. I think our education system will plow through the world and give the best to the world. That's what I have my future. Maybe there are so many technological and our support system and technology in most of the classes. So even government schools are doing very well.
Yes.
What the government of Tamil Nadu is trying to give the best to the children because there is consciousness that happen just because the private schools have so many facilities. Teachers in government schools are very highly superior. They know they're well paid. There are government teachers are well paid than the private school teachers. So they know the power of delivering something and they are more responsible, they are more accountable than a private school. So in the future, we need to work. And if I could say as a teacher, if I have the power to plant institutions, I have to move to the rural areas where there are a lot of resources available with children and moving away from the corporate or cosmopolitan cities, moving to the rural area. We need to correct rural to the urban in the future for the India's growth. And you will see India will come out so proudly in many areas in the future. If this gap is being narrowed down, I think we'll be able to do a lot of things.
Yes, sir. I think that is a very, very crucial point today, to embrace traditional and technology together
Yes,
is
Emma.
very, very
Yeah.
important. And that
Identify
absolutely,
where we are erring, where our children are getting damaged without knowing that they're damaged. We need to
yes.
plug in, and this is where we need to discuss this. If it is not attended, it is one more terrorism that will happen. Please understand. There's a parent who was telling me the child is good in some time. The sign suddenly become very volatile sometime. What is happening? It's what we call the well-being of the child. The health reasons are very important. Health consciousness have to be very important, and the mental well-being is going to be become important. Understand? The emotional well-being became important, and if you don't see all this, there'll be damages to the futuristic children. That's what is my simple understanding and my humble understanding.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And I think everybody who's listening will also understand the importance of, today maintaining whatever curriculum or whatever infrastructure, no matter what, it is important that they value intelligence quotient as well as the emotional quotients of the child today.
For example, you are a curriculum developer.
Yeah,
You may sit in a nice room and prepare your curriculum, if you don't mistake me. But a curriculum has to match to today's needs.
exactly.
Where are we lacking? Where are we lacking? Where is my children? Proportion is lacking. We need to provide. And that accordingly, we need to provide a diverse curriculum. Now,
Yeah,
also, please think today, the world thinks the children are not the same. Each child is a unique child. Are we delivering a curriculum that meets all the individual needs of a child? That is where it is. Now we are trying to a class of 30, the teacher delivers something and go for all the 30. But teacher may not know whether it is reached to all the children. So please, we also may not know. So the curriculum should be in such a way, it should take care of the receptiveness of the children, the result oriented of the child performing. The assessment pattern also has been taken care. So that is what the curriculum which will go to all the children is what today's need of the child. A diverse curriculum is always important for the children.
exactly, sir. And as curriculum providers, I think that is a
Yeah,
responsibility that each one of us
yeah, that
bearing
is what, that is
to
what.
ensure that we deliver
Yeah,
and
that
to
is
aid to all kinds of learners that we
yes,
have today.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir. So moving on to the next question, sir.
Mhm.
Talking about curriculum and infrastructure and technology, how do you address resistance from educators when introducing a new growth plan or innovation?
Now I can tell you a small example, Ma. When the chairman of CBSE came to regional office of Chennai many years back, he flew down and came and met 30 of the the top principals of city. I was one among the 30 principals seated in front and listening to him. I did ask him one valid question. He was introducing continuous comprehensive evaluation, CCE, continuous comprehensive evaluation, which was introduced many years back. I did ask, sir, we in a city, we may understand and we may be able to deliver it. Are you sure that this is what can every village where there are PBS school can deliver? It happened after many years, maybe around after 3, 4 years. A management called me to a group of schools. The management called me, not a principal called me. It's a body. It's a well constituted body who called me and asked me to
Okay.
address around 50, 60 principals of their group schools. You will
Okay.
be surprised. I told the continuous comprehensive evaluation is a confusing model. All the 40, 50, 60 principals raise their hand. Yes, sir, it's still a confusing model. Now, I am trying to tell we have to understand what are we delivering to the children and what is the purpose of that delivery, in what way it is going to alter, in what way it is going to correct, in what way it is going to perfect the educational model. So I feel when we have the right model, the parent need not counter anything, but they want something that is acceptable to the society, that is acceptable. So see, we can't change something that. So what I say, there is nobody will resist any change, and we cannot. For example, maybe we talk about artificial intelligence. Maybe 10 years back or 15 years back, we do not know what is artificial intelligence. Maybe it was just a word. Today, it's a happening one. Everybody talks about it. A small child talks about, sir, this is my AI design, sir, he says. So now we can't resist. We have to wait and see how it is going to protect. If it has a damage, if it has a side effect, if it has something that is going to hurt to the growth of the child, then as teachers and planners, we have to think about it. Otherwise, there's nothing for people to. But any good school, any good educators, any good parent will not like something that affects the child.
Exactly.
Please understand, the long run, it will affect. So we are very careful. Any school will be very careful for that. Just because something has been given, we can't deliver it. Okay. So I think resistance will not be there. Resistance is a mass movement. It will happen only as a mass movement if it is not worth to be delivered. But otherwise,
Exactly.
no. But a good leader knows. A good principal knows. I always believe anything, the management can be anything, but a good academic leader is the need of a good educational model. The educational model has to be what you call validated by a good leader to understand the type of textbook that we decide for the children has to be validated by a good academic leader. இந்த குழந்தைங்களால படிக்க முடியுமா, அம்மா அப்பால இதை சப்போர்ட் பண்ண முடியுமா, இந்த புத்தகம் குழப்புதா இல்ல நல்லா ஸ்ட்ராங்கா இருக்கா, திஸ் இஸ் ஹவ் எனி திங் தட் ஹஸ் டு பி டெஸ்டட் டு அவர் சில்ட்ரன். ஒரு நல்ல தாய் என்னமா பண்ணுவாங்க, குழந்தைக்கு ஒரு ஒரு சின்ன ஒரு லிக்விட் கொடுக்கும்போது அதை அவங்க சாப்பிட்டு டெஸ்ட் பண்ண
Yes.
பிறகு தான் கொடுப்பாங்கம்மா. தட் இஸ் வாட் அ குட் ஸ்கூல், அ குட் லீடர், அ குட் அகடமிக் வெல்பீயிங் ஹாஸ் டு டெலிவர், டெஸ்டிங் இட். So there's no need of any resistance from anybody if they believe that trust. Leadership is trusting. They trust me when I say Kishore Kumar sir will take care. And that has to be developed in a school model. But the accountability, responsibility is more on people like us. When we take care of something that has to be given, there is no resistance. I'll tell you because we take the responsibility. But we have to be very careful in delivering it to them. I would have now delivered artificial intelligence as one of the additional subjects 9 and 10. I'm waiting for another 2, 3 years how this is going to shape up. Once it is done, I will introduce artificial intelligence as elective subject 11 and 12. Now,
Okay.
children are going to IIT as a school connect program. So we expose them to so many areas, and we do only testing. Our assessment is only testing. If it comes back with a good model, good development, I think we are ready to do anything for the children. Immaterial of how do we go about it, how do we propose it, how do we design it, how to take it forward.
Yes, sir. I think the examples that you gave would really connect with everybody who's listening, sir. Thank you
Yes,
so much,
Emma.
sir.
Yes, thank you.
Moving on to the next question, sir. What role do you see EdTech playing in helping school leaders navigate modern challenges today?
I can't hear you, Ma. Tell me, what
What
role
role
does
does EdTech companies
EdTech
play in
play in
helping school
helping school
leaders
leaders navigate modern
modern
challenges?
challenges?
Today, whenever I meet any group of principals, they talk only about EdTech.
Yeah.
They talk about technology. They talk about what I can give to my children. That is what. And I don't know, play in helping school leaders navigate modern. I think today, even a 60-year-old teacher, principal, now very good in this type of technology play. They have understood, thanks to Corona.
Yeah.
Corona took us into that understanding, and it connected to the internet, it connected to the Microsoft, it connected to the Google. Today, people talk only about Google. A child never asks the mother, what is this meaning? The child asks the Google with the mobile and say, and gives a sound and gets the answer. And that is how today. So it is not only teachers, it is also the leaders, right up to the correspondent managers, the chairmen of the institution. If they are not going to validate the technological provision that they have to give. If somebody says, I've given 200 computers in the lab, no, it is not that. They have to know what is being delivered to them, what type of internet facility you have, whether it is a continuous internet, whether those days, no, a computer had the facility to get an air conditioner. It's not the office executive gets the facility. Today, we have to see what is that we are going to give. Is my STEM lab used very well? Is my labs are used very well? Is my computer is supporting the children? And this is how every head, a teacher, a leader has to think about their educational model, where how to bring in technology into the classroom in a very, very nice, integrated, acceptable model. And not because we have to say a board and say, I have this classroom, I have this facility. It's not that. If I have interactive board in all my classroom, are my teachers able to use this interactive board the right way? See, for example, in a mission market, what they say, if the mission is not used for 24 hours, the mission is not productive. Now, when we have a system, when we have technology given in our classroom, are we utilizing the classroom? If I give my wife a nice gadget in the kitchen, if she does not know how to use the gadget, there's no point in me giving a gadget to my wife in the kitchen to use it because I proudly say I've given. It is not the proud moment of giving a technology support. The proud moment is how do we use the technology to make it viable? And such leaders are the one who could definitely deliver. A training system has to be given to the teachers to audit and say that we are definitely using the technology for the welfare of the children, and acceptance from the children is great today in terms of technology driven schools and institutions and classrooms.
Yes, sir. And I think you have given a very important point here to ensure that the implementation actually happens.
Yes,
You know, rather
yes,
than having all the facilities, it is the
yeah,
implementation
it
that
is, it
matters,
is.
and
As it
it is
happening,
very
that we have to
important.
check.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is very important. Yes, sir. So we have come to the last question. The last question is again a very personal one, which many of us would like to hear from you. So you have witnessed generations of change in education, and you've actively been a part of shaping its future. So, what key qualities do you believe define a great principal, and what advice would you give to the next generation of school leaders?
Very, very interesting. And the need of the hour. We find many, many young leaders coming in, generations and generations leader coming in. My father prepared me, but he had a very natural preparation for me. He allowed me to go to the school. I used to sit with him and know what he been doing. And this is a very sacred place. If somebody thinks that my next generation should come to my own school and they have to earn, it is not the place. It's not the place. If a family thinks that my next generation should go and serve and learning should happen in such an institution, then that is the place. And when I say a school is a sacred place, the leader has to be very pious, highly sacred place. And the great support comes from organization like CBSC, ICSC. Every day there are a lot of updates. And a principal cannot say, I know everything. The principal has to update himself, herself every day. And that is the model of principal or leader that we need to do. There's a good understanding between a management, who maybe a correspondent or a chairman or a manager, to the principal. If there's no understanding between these two elements of a school, the sufferers are the students and the parents.
Okay.
And the principal's role is very important. It's a very academic, it is both academic leadership and administrative leadership. And you spoke about philosophy.
Yeah.
And the principal should understand, the leader of the institution, the whole community of leaders should understand. It's a big place. It's a very prayer order. We need to enter a school. And to be in our cabin, we need that God's prayer and God's presence to take forward. Today, my worthiness is how do I deliver to my faculty, to my heads, to my children, and it will be very what you call a pleasing and a pleasant day for our children. And if he could be accommodative person, understanding. No, I need to bend down and talk to my ayahs, the housekeeping people. I have 40 housekeeping people. I know how to deal with them. Nalla irkingla? When I get down my car, the ayah in the front, ayah vanakkam. I can't say that. I have to say, amma vanakkam ma. That's where your leadership begins. We can't say how to review our school with the parents. My watchman should review my school. I should know whether my corridors are clean, whether my washroom is clean. I should become a scavenger for the sake of my children. I should become an attender for the sake of the children. Should be ready to play a different role because I cannot be a cabin principal. I can't be just a communicative principal. I have to review, I have to feel. Today, that is more important. And when you want to come to school as a young a teacher or a young leader or maybe a dynasty leader, say, my father was a leader, so I want to become a leader. No, you don't come to such institution with that thought, but come to that institution with the belief that I want to do better than my father, than my mother, than my grandmother, than my grandfather, because I am going to serve a temple. I'm entering a temple. Remove your slipper and come into the temple. When I say that, remove all your attitudes, remove all your work and come to institution and sit there to deliver something because India needs, every school needs that type of leader who need to sit and work with the children. It's a collaborative work. It's a communicative work. We need to communicate. I'm talking not about English communication. I'm talking about heart-to-heart communication. We should understand. Okay, the teacher will have a problem. May go and rectify the problem, solve the problem. The teacher may have something. Understand. No, we can't boss over. The bossing leadership has been taken from a leader. It is understandable leadership has been given to the. And at one point of time, we have to be a boss because if it is not delivered well to the children, that's where we become a very aggressive leader because we can't tolerate a teacher who is not delivering it. And that becomes a damage and it becomes a depth for our children academic welfare. We can't see that also. We either have to have the heart to correct and let it go or remove so that no, it is what. So we always say when I take my car, those 30, 40 years to TVS, they never repair my car, they replace my parts. I've never seen TVS never repairing my parts. They replace my parts. You understand? So that is where are you repairing, mentoring, or are you replacing? So a leader has to be somebody who need to understand the value of children, the education that you're going to deliver. If that is taken care, I'll tell you. When I go home, there are many days I don't sleep because I have a burden in my heart. And the burden and the pain is what important for a good leader. Everyone we can't be leader. We have to understand my children, are they safe? Are my teachers good? Are we delivering to an academic year is very important. When I finish one academic year, I have to feel had I delivered it? And is it very good for my children? When I see children back again, I have to see, yes, they're doing well. And that satisfaction should be for a great leader. And that's the only message I have to tell, okay, to all our leaders, including me. God, give me the same heart so that I deliver it to them. I
Yes.
make sure I be the same person, so I should continue. Nothing should come to my head and say, I'm somebody good, somebody great. No, ma. In presence of God, God has given us a noble profession to deliver, and let us keep delivering. I'm very sure all my children would have gone through me as a students, teachers know, will always feel that what I talk to you is what I preach here or what I deliver to my children also.
Yes, sir. I think that was very inspiring, and we can see the passion that you have there. And I'm sure everybody who's listening, this is going to be such an inspiring moment for all the leaders out there as well. So, personally, I was very inspired by your vision, and your passion is definitely shining through everything that we have discussed today. So, thank you so much. And I think with that, we have come to an end for all the questions. This was a very fulfilling session for us personally and for the leaders out there as well. So, thank you for your time and thank you for coming out here and addressing our teachers and school leaders today. And Team Caprix wishes you all the best. And
No, no,
we are,
my sincere thanks to the Capric Learning team, entire team. I think you have a very young, dynamic team, a very,
yeah,
very charismatic team. And my thanks to every one of you because I had the chance to speak out my thoughts. I had a chance to get connected. Whether I am understood or not understood or misunderstood, maybe it's all left to the people who listen to me. But I always think, as age grows by, we become highly matured. I would have seen 7 chairmen of CBSE. I had worked with 7 chairmen of CBSE. I had worked with many principals across. But, I've been same man, delivering, working in the same time. Maybe there are a lot of turbulences come, lot of problems come, lot of difficulties come. A teacher is always a towering teacher, and that is what I keep doing. And when I meet people like you in different environment, different platform, different workshop, different summits, I go home with a great learning. That today also I go home with a great learning because, as I told Jayashree, very impressive questions. It is not that you've easily coined it or curated it. It is because of the experience that you have been interacting with schools, you're able to bring out such a wonderful questions to us. And these questions also educate not only me, it will also radiate to people to understand what today's education pattern is. And thank you so much to the entire team of Capric Learning. Thank you.
thank you so much.